welcome to another episode of Creative Always Be. This episode is called Creative Always Be Moving Graphical Elements. Desmond Young is a well-known motion graphic artist here in Jamaica. He has worked on many commercials. Some we are sure you have seen. He's also an explorer as it relates to his work, always doing personal projects and sharing the process online. His work has inspired us as creatives, and we are sure it has inspired others. We'll be talking about how his work is so polished. Let's check out his show. Alright, everybody. You know what I mean? We're there again. Welcome, my brother. Desmond Young.
Yes. Back.
DZNR. Designer himself, yo. You hear me asking the people, man? You see that brother, yeah? At different levels. As you can see based on him show reels, at different levels. Like, the level of transition, the level of, what I call now, the polishedness of him work and you know what I mean, just the elements, or move the elements and stuff like that. As we say, the man is a motion graphic artist, and you can see the level of work where I'm doing, you know what I mean? So first things first, designer.
Yeah.
The question we ask everybody is, how do you get started basically as a motion graphic artist? That's one of the things we ask people them.
Well, as I said before, the process, right? Essentially, I started out as a graphic designer. As I was saying, I went to Edna with man like Jeremy and Kadir and Kells and some other guys, Fabian and some really good graphic designers. And when I was working, I realized that during that time it was the NTV generation. So there was a whole lot of, they call them station identities that was happening, and some little quick animations that would happen in the logo. And I was like, yo, that's something I definitely want to do. And there wasn't any, well, Jamaica never had any schooling for that, because Edna only had like the traditional arts. And so went to Atlanta, went to the school called SCAD, and that's where I did the schooling in motion graphics.
SCAD, bro?
Yeah, man.
Seriously?
But a quick 2 years, man.
One of the
one of the best 2 years of my life, man. I'm not telling a lie,
no,
man.
I understand why your thing looks so polished, brother, because you get that, you're gonna get the fundamentals on a different level.
Yeah, man. It's one of the best 2 years of my life, I'm not telling a lie. And I wish I had went and done the full 4-year degree, but in the 2 years, I grasped a lot of stuff. And one key thing I learned was, they say the graphic design background help you a lot in motion graphics, because there was a thing, they stress a thing that, once you press pause, every time you press pause on a motion graphics, that shot should be able to be like a poster in itself.
Oh,
you understand?
Yo.
Yeah, man.
I have never thought about it like that. As a motion graphic artist myself, who, you know what I mean, do 1 and 2 things, I have never thought about it. Say, if you press pause, every time you press pause, whatever is on screen supposed to represent basically a artwork.
Exactly.
You mess up, me I learn.
So
go on.
So you can basically take, so basically anytime you showcase my work, even the thumbnail is basically a screen grab from the actual video. So I don't have to design a thumbnail or nothing for the actual video because I just take a screen grab from the actual video because I try and make sure that every scene basically look like it on the flyer. You see me?
Me nah quite remember the plugin where Video Copilot make, but allow you to do
Mm-hmm.
that. Wait name again, where you can just take screen grabs and you can do. Me not remember what name. I think it.
Oh, but they even know that too. I don't use
You
that.
have got to tell about it because what that allow you to do is it allows you to take screen grabs and you process and you get
Yeah.
multi screen grab and you also can just write in. No, man, you should know it. You can just write in the effects them where you want. So instead you have to go over effects and some of them you like press two keys and you just write in the effect where you want and you just drop out.
Oh yeah, I know it. Yeah, I know it. But I remember the name. I know it. I think I shift F you press and it pop up and you can type.
Yeah, man. But brother, you may say, man, you blow my mind with that thing because I have never thought about it like that. To say, yo, you see, every time it stop, you supposed to see a graphic. So in other words, designing the elements them as a graphic artist, you basically design each stage of the animation full out basically. So you use in other words, you make like what them call it again?
Like a storyboard or a
storyboard. Yes, a storyboard for your design. And then from that storyboard, you lead out all the designs. And then you say, all right, then from this design to this design, this is how I'm going to move. And from this design to this design. Brother, you may say, no, man, you mash up my mental a while ago. So give me a little bit more about
that. Man. Yeah, because the actual process at SCAD is you have to design the storyboard and before you go into animation. And then what happens is you have to design from the elements in the storyboard. So essentially you'd have, at that time we never started doing HD yet. So we're doing like 1280 by 720. And so you'd have to design them at 1280 by 720, design each scene, and then go back now in After Effects and basically animate each screen and do the transition to each of them. So after a while, when you get good at it now, you don't have to do that. You can basically design while you animate. You understand? And so, yeah, the process of SCAD was good, man. You get an overview of each software. So we did a little Cinema 4D, a little After Effects, and a little Photoshop and stuff. And also there was a film class. The basics, but you get the understanding. Okay. You know, so for lighting and all them things.
At SCAD, them teach about like for instance, color theory. Them teach about the principles of layout. Them teach them stuff there too.
Well, all right. So the course I did was a master's, right? So it's only a 2-year course. So you kind of have to have those things already. So that's how Edna came in for me. But I'm sure if you did the 4-year degree, you would have to do the same process where you start out, you know. But Edna,
from basically grown up.
Yeah. But the good thing, Edna gave all of that, right? So
yeah.
When I was at Edna, all of those things came naturally. So we learned all of the color theory, balance, design, all of these things. And so I was able to bring that into the motion graphics when I went there.
Okay, so this is one of the things when my ears stand out with all of the creatives then when we talk to so far, is that graphics, being a graphic artist is very crucial. Being a designer as it relates to, you know what I mean, being able to manipulate elements as a designer and putting elements together. It pans over to motion graphic, it pans over to even drawing on some levels. Because you understand how to combine stuff, so to speak. You understand how to combine elements and also make the elements them work together. Because when I look at your work, and really and truly, I see your commercial work, but I am more fascinated by your personal projects. Because one of the things we do online, which for me is amazing, you always bring me through the process. You always show me, say, yo, boom, I fling up the green screen. And then I'm fling up the green screen now, especially speaking about the vaulting, like, brother, you blow like people. You may say, no, man, to it bad, me I go show you again. I don't watch this. No, tell me people, does that look like a personal project, so to speak? It doesn't look like anything I could have dip on TV or any commercial and the man just decides say yo him see it, him like the thing and him a gonna make a thing and him just make it out. Yo, the man put it out. Me I say, yo, you mess the man. National need for link the man and pay the man because this bad. When I say this bad, I mean this bad. You know what I mean? As I say, yo, you bring me through the process on your Instagram. You show the elements that man show we how you basically get the bag for your spin and how you light it so you get that look light effect on the bag and you show the look boy on the green screen. So you walking us through process like that is something where another creative like myself and even other creatives can look by it and get inspired by it and say, oh, you know what I mean? I'm gonna see creatives now online like a YouTube. I can't remember him name right now. Popular YouTube guy. He might do a whole heap of stuff like that. Like him show you the process of how him basically do it and him I look on even other people where I share the process. So when you share your process, and this is the reason for this show overall. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Cause me I smell look I'm gonna ask you a question and you go and talk because me I smell like a look smoke thing, so I'm gonna check it out. So as me say yo, you go SCAD now and after you go SCAD, you go to boom and learn all these elements. So when you go to boom and come back to Jamaica now and you say yo, alright then I gotta take on this motion graphic thing serious. How did you basically now get into the industry on a certain level?
Yeah, man. All right, so how the whole thing started, like when I finished SCAD, I was looking for 1 and 2 work abroad, but then he's a man who love Jamaica still, but not telling a lie, And so decided to say, all right, I'll come back and try getting another work and getting for the scene. So when I came back, I was working with two girls. Everybody know them. I think it was a lab. Kimala and Melissa, 2 nice girls. And, so they gave me some freedom to even be working on my own stuff while I was working with them. So I was able to build up the skill and build up the name. And then one thing I always tell people, your friends, people that you go college with and high school with, you can't leave them out because at the end of the day, especially in a service industry or a design industry, those are the people who normally help you to get work, So when I came back, at that time, I think Richard was working at Dunlop. I think it's Dunlop.
Dunlop, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was Dunlop. And and like funny because they had some other guys who were working there who eventually left and created their own agency. But while they were at Dunlop was Claro was about the place them time then. And they needed a motion graphics. So that was actually the first job I did. And that I got and I said, yo, all right, I'm gonna try it and Jeremy and boss me on that and start out. They loved it, we did it. And so from that, it's like the guys who were working there, the 2 mics they call them, they left and started their own agency. And so because they saw the stuff I did for Claro, they reached out to me. So it's basically a chain reaction and word of mouth, essentially. And then once, man.
Which as far as me see it, most of the time as a motion graphic artist, it's very similar to that where Jeremy explained to me that, you know what I mean, once you do a certain level and a certain quality of work and people see the work, people are gonna reach out. People are gonna look and say, yo, you may say the man that work are bad, who I do it? And then them go and find the person. When them find the person now and them say the person is at this level, then them say, oh, alright then. And one of the things where even when me and Jeremy talk is how you look on continuous learning. Because I know that is big for any motion graphic artist. How you view continuous learning?
Well, one of the things is I try to stay up to date with what's going on. So I remember you're talking to Jeremy and everybody know about Video Copilot. So every now and then I make it my duty to go and see what's new and what's happening. But for my continuous learning is really getting into the software. So it's like when I'm doing my personal projects, it's the best feeling because I don't have to worry about client telling me to move this, change that color. It's like when I'm done, it's done. Nobody can tell me change nothing. It's my feeling.
One second, Desmond. Come on, I have to make this.
Yeah, man.
Research and development, R&D, personal project, as a designer, as a graphic artist, as a motion graphic artist, as a cinema 4D artist, as any former creative, is your most important work. The reason why
Yeah, man.
is that you get to explore whatever software you're using. Most time when you do client work, you are just trying to finish it. You're just trying to say, yo, I want to get that work here off of me. But when you're doing your personal project, you finish it or you want to finish it, you take how much time you want to take on it. You know what I mean? You do as long as you don't forget it. You not try to get it perfect, because you know perfection is not really a good thing for us. Because we'll spend 5 years trying to do something. But still, you try to get your work to a certain level, and you get to explore, you get to learn new things, which then you can use to accomplish client work much faster. So, as I say, give them your process of how you go about doing your personal project, so to speak.
Well, as you know, most time we head deep into the work, right? And so you can't really, for me personally, I can't really set a date to say, oh, all right, tomorrow I'm going to do a personal work. Normally, it's like a feeling just lick me, and I just move with it. And so I try to fit anything I start, it have to finish within that day, because it's like as I get tunnel vision and I can't stop. So even this cheesy foods, one day I sit down, because I was actually working on some national stuff at the time. And then I found 1 and 2 I do with the FX packs, so the lightning and thing, and I said, yo, this body know, we can't use this stuff. I'm saying, yo, I have to shoot a commercial with this bad. I have some toothpick. Run the gas station, go buy a bag of cheese at the cheesy boats.
Yeah, mad.
Buy a string and say, all right, boom, set up the green screen, let's go. And so I like to use whatever I have here. Like I don't want to go out and find expensive equipment or nothing. So I have a little one T4 Canon. So all right, I can set up that. I'm start record the thing then by myself, and I kind of like that. I like the process, you know.
Which is
and then so when I finish, yeah, man, definitely, because one of the things, it's not that I struggled, but I didn't do a lot of green screen work when I just came. I did a couple of them, like the digital stuff and all of that, but I wanted to start learning this keying thing. So I tried to figure it out, and when I was finished, I said, all right, what I need for do something with that talent. So neighbor next door just saw me for a little youth. So I said, yo, lend me a son. Lend me a son for about 10-15 minutes. Yeah, man. So come in right now, hold this and go and like it, eat it and everything. And boom, do that, throw it in After Effects, and literally just sit down the whole night into the morning. Like 3-4 o'clock, that's how boom, boom, until it finish. So that is how I learned certain stuff, you know, because you keep playing around, you don't really have a deadline.
Yes.
And so you mess around until you learn things.
It's not even just a deadline. Yeah, because it's your project, as you said earlier, you don't really have nobody to tell you, say, yo, oh, you need to take out this, or you need to move this. You know, say, whatever you do and you pleased with it, it are going to be the final result. And we can't stress this no more. We can't stress this. Like, if you notice, when it comes to my graphic design and my motion graphic stuff, them, you realize me always are playing with the software, them.
Yeah.
Always are playing with the software because that is where you learn the most. When you are playing, you discover some stuff where you never even know. You say, oh shoot, you know, me never know, say, CC compositor can actually recomposite something upon something. So if you have CC compositor, it does recomposite something. What? I don't know we can do that. So me normally have to basically do something there, do a pre-compose, and then I have to bring the layer upon the top of the layer, and then we can just put CC compositor upon it, and I have to do pre-compose. So you see, these things, you only learn these things as a designer, as a motion graphic artist, and all of these things by, 1, exploring, and 2, doing a lot of research, reading, studying online, watching the tutorials them from the various people them. Even some simple techniques in a Photoshop. One simple tutorial can just blow your mind. You're like, whoa, but I've been doing this the hard way. And as a motion graphic artist, as a designer, you always want to find a way how to reduce the amount of time where you spend on do anything.
Facts.
You know what I mean? The only thing I'm say, you know, really want to reduce too much of your time off is keyframing inside After Effects. Because keyframe give you a certain level of flexibility. So using like the composer and them things there, it takes away the flexibility. So your work can look like everybody else's work.
Pretty much.
So
Pretty
when you go
much.
to know and you keyframe a thing, and you go to know and go in and basically the speed graph or the something the graph now you tweak them and you basically say, oh, I want my curve for the right this and my balance it out and all them things there. For the people who don't understand After Effects, I'm sorry for them because this the part of me I talk about is purely After Effects, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you go in on the thing now, you start tweak up the thing them because sometimes we'll use Composer when I'm lazy, but the keyframing for me is important. You tell me how you go about doing your work and if you serious about keyframing them with it. Especially
Well, it's a double-edged sword for me, really, because one of the things I pride with myself and with my work is that I work quick. You understand? So I basically try, like I will say to people, it's a 3-day turnaround, but the reality is I really can shoot off a 30-second in less than 2 days or 2 days, depending on how complicated it is.
Yeah.
So the process for me normally, once I get the audio, back in the day, I used to sit down and storyboard and think I don't do that no more. I jump right into After Effects because I kind of build a story in my head, how I want it to look. And so once I only create one scene. I call it a style frame. So I create one style frame and I know how the entire thing is supposed to look.
Oh,
right?
Mad.
So I don't know if you saw the thing I did the other day with the shipping companies, like blue and yellow.
Yes.
You show it in the reel. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So I had the idea that I definitely want it to be a blue background, have it like a recessed type of 3D thing, but it's just going across sideways. So jump right into After Effects, started creating it. Keyframing for me is with those elements. It's any element I have that is not text. I'm very detailed about how I want things to move and how I want the keyframes to go. And then text, sometimes I use Composer because the reality is I'm not doing much with the text itself. So I just need to bring it onto screen.
So because it's simple, drop Composer upon it.
Yeah, and my go-to is normally the one that carry it up letter by letter. That's everybody uses essentially. Yeah. So when the timeline with you, I will do that to the text. But everything else now, I go deep into the keyframe and I make sure everything right. Transitions for me though, I don't like cut transition. And I think that's what separates me between like people who have an editing background and people who does the straight motion graphics. Like I like how people with an editing background are able to cut while they do, but I just can't do it. Like I see everything as one continuous story.
So when you look
so
for
motion
graphics, it's not supposed to look like it's cut. It's supposed to look like from scene to scene.
Yeah, exactly.
Mad.
So if you look at most of my transition, it's something like that. So what I will probably do is use an element from the next scene to bring in the next scene.
Yes.
You know?
And them
so
teach you that in motion graphics for real. One element from the next scene, bring in the next element, it always make it it's seamless.
Seamless, that is it. That is the word. So I try and make the transition as seamless as possible. And so normally, like if I'm using text and the word has an exclamation at the end, I'll probably use the exclamation to come up in the front of the screen and wipe it and bring in the next scene or something like that. If there's a vehicle in the next scene, I make the vehicle drive across the screen and go into the next scene.
Yes. So in other words, what we call it in a editing is blocking. So you always blocking for basically the transition.
Essentially. Pretty much.
Use one thing to block it and they just bring in the elements. Nice.
Pretty much.
I'm gonna say, brother, I can't give you more praises as it relates to the quality of work where you put out, brother. As I say, personal project, commercial project, whatever you do, when you go to man put your hand on it, even me and Jeremy sometime all reasoning about that, and me and Jeremy will tell you all a reason, and Jeremy, listen, what go on, Jeremy? Me and Jeremy all a reasoning, and
the real boss.
Yo, the man thing, even Jeremy I say, yo, the man thing polish a certain way, and even himself sometime would have liked to bring him work to some level, but you know Jeremy and bad. Me see Jeremy more on a visual effects type of thing. You know what I mean? Because when it comes to the green screen and take out this and Jeremy and bad them way, but when it comes to motion graphics, you are the man, bruv. I not tell no lie. Like, me look
man, respect.
The levels the levels is not normal. The levels is not normal. So that's one of the reason why even this conversation was very important because you just teach me some things. You know what I mean? And when I hear you say overall is that since because you at a certain level now in terms of your motion graphics, you not necessarily have to create the old style frames. Now me still I create style frames in terms of I create the different style frames for whatever me I try to do. So me create like 5 style frames to know say yo, me I move from yaso to yaso, then I move from yaso to yaso, then I move from yaso to yaso, and then me work out how me I transition them. But for you, when me I hear you say based on your expertise and the level where you reach, is that you have the style frame in your brain and you just come up with the first frame. In other words,
pretty much.
The first frame, if you send a client, design the first frame and say, yo, you know, these are the first frame. So you design 7 style frame, you design 1 frame and just send it to them and say, yo, these are the general idea.
Pretty much. And essentially,
knock it.
When the client send audio, trust me, if you did design anything, you might as well throw that out. So that's why sometimes I just work on the fly because what happens is you might realize the stuff you are designed and prepared for when the audio comes, it just can't match. You know?
Okay.
And so the audio might have a bunch of words in there where you never really think about before and how you will tackle that, and that might be a 5 second. And we all know that 5 seconds is a whole heap of time. You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
yes.
I try not to lock myself down to what the frames are. So that's why I got rid of that. I just need to know what the overall thing, the theme of the animation will look like. So most times I try to design within a space, and so I create that space, and then I say, all right, I'm gonna fill that space now with all the elements. You know?
Okay, and that is the reason why I see you use sky the way over you use sky and me see you use the background elements the way you use the background elements. Cause you are thinking about it and say, yo, me I try to make the space as open as possible. So when me I try to design, me not lock into no specific area, so to speak.
Facts. Yeah, man. So I can go anywhere. I have some I wouldn't pet peeves or some stuff where I love doing. So anyhow you give me an ad, that's gonna be outside. 2 things have to be there. Clouds, birds.
Yes. Yo, not lie. See the clouds in the driving car one.
Yeah, man. Every ad.
One. We see the clouds in the plane one. We see the clouds in the all.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, yo.
Clouds and birds. That are just my calling card. I have to show that because it give more life and it fill up the scene more.
Yes.
And the good thing is when you have that now, I can have the option now to transition between where I am at or the sky. Because once you have clouds, you suggest a sky. So now the next transition I can go up in the sky. You see me?
Okay. Yes.
We can zoom past and
do that already too. Mad. So
basically I create options.
The next thing I want to talk to you about, you mentioned sound many times since we are talk. How important is what I call now sound effects and also making your own sound, because one of the things I notice is that sometimes you actually do the audio. So normally you as a designer doing commercial work, you like get the audio from the client. But most of your personal projects them is you attack on it. You know what I mean? See those studio like where you do your voice and voiceover kind of thing and stuff like that. How important is audio in a motion graphics? Why explain that to the people then?
Well, actually to me, motion graphics is basically 50% the graphics and 50% audio, right? The audio is key. So I actually have a rule with my thing. I don't start any project without the audio, right? Back in the day, people used to say, no man, start, and then we said the voiceover. No, I can't start without the voiceover because the voiceover basically give the tempo of what you're animating at. The music would help the music bed, but sometimes they don't have that, but you have to have the voiceover, right? And that is timing. Sound effects now, sound effects is what bring it alive. You start believe the things you're seeing, you know? Because mostly with motion graphics, you're using illustrations or a picture, but it don't feel like real life because it's not live video. So when you add the sound of wheels and screeching tires to a car, people can feel more connected to that. You understand?
Yes.
When you use the sound of things crossing the screen or paper crumbling or wind blowing, it brings the motion graphic alive. So in my earlier days, trust me, I had to use a lot of sound effects. I have my own little bank of sound effects that we collect from
Mad,
all over the
mad,
internet.
mad, mad,
You know,
mad.
what we use.
Yo,
As
brother,
for
you
the
know some man.
personal one though, yeah.
Me I learn a whole. Let's go on top. Me I learn a whole.
Well, for the personal thing now, well, you know, so me is a church man still, so I love my singing.
Yes.
So once I start do my personal project, then I don't need to go ask nobody because I want to do everything myself. I actually wanted to go in jingles too, but you can only do so many things. But
Yeah, yeah,
back
yeah.
in the day, I used to make music and sing and do all kind of forces. So I still have that love. Use my garage band to make beats and everything there. So well, I don't really make sound effects, but I definitely do voiceover and do like jingles and use some of my own music in the background for the projects. So sound is key. It's very important. A lot of people don't realize how important it is. You know, especially in these times when we're doing a lot of video boards, so you don't need sound. So you kind of lose some of that effect. But definitely online and in the media sphere, like TV or stuff like that, you need to have your sound effects to push the animation.
And as I said that, like when we think about some Cole and people like that, who you know what I mean, them do more video editing and stuff like that. The sound is what really takes you. A lot of people no, as I said, they don't know the importance of sound. But just imagine you close your eyes and you just start listening. You get to basically experience your environment. If you hear some bird pass, if they move from left to right, you gotta hear that. So you basically give the people them that with how you basically set up your projects and use sound effects. Boss move. I
Yeah, man.
you know, say, man, gem. So the people them in the comments, I say some things. They might say, yo, when the workshop them drop, you know what I mean? How you feel about that though? Doing some workshops, would that be set up a Zoom class and have some people come in and you know what I mean? Would that be free or you want?
We don't have a problem with that, man. Actually, Jeremy and I myself, we've been talking about it. We definitely want to set up something where we can have some workshop because we love the collaboration thing. Like Jeremy and me work on one of projects together, and some other guys were definitely the talent them up there. I never really say it, but there's a couple guys where me look up to when I just came here. You must know Critic.
Yeah, man,
Right?
definitely.
Critic, yeah, man. And there's another guy who me listen, Marcel, right? He work with ATL now. Them man the thing used to clean. Love them man the things. So me same thing them try emulate and even though my things are really depend on the when we just say like the dancehall side of things and the party thing and all of that, we start aim for more commercial and more corporate. But once me and Jeremy and everybody start work and even when we shout out you for do some personal thing, I say, yo, we need a space where we can, did the knowledge. At the time me and Jeremy teach up a UE. Me and Jeremy actually a teach up a UE do like a motion graphics course. But we want to do something where we can basically throw it out to the mats.
This is the platform basically. So where we can organize is that we basically can say, alright then, we could organize a workshop. Either through Zoom, whereas we go to boom and you come in and you know what I mean, we set up in such a way that, you know what I mean, probably a workshop between you and Jeremy and we organize stuff because where it can actually be, it probably can have some workshops where the people them come in who want to learn motion graphics and then pay a little fee. Them never pay no big money. Like a man come in and him pay probably like 15 US and him get to see the process of a man thing. And we try and get in as much person as possible. And we also try and even do some free one for kind of get the people them to see what it is, because oftentimes I know the people them see already. Them have to see what them are going to get, so to speak, for really coming at it in the workshop. But me believe that sharing knowledge, and as I said, this show, as you see it, Creative Always Be, where creatives share knowledge. Sharing the knowledge and helping other people to get at a certain level is so crucial, it's so important as it relates to building the industry. And we realize a lot of the time, we as creatives, we are not helping to work on the industry. It's every man for themselves. If every man actually for themselves, them now going to develop the industry. So one of the things where one of my brethren them, when we even bring on the show, Kiran, always tell me with the Trinidad guys them is that they must say, oh, the Trinidad guys them link up. So if somebody call them and this man say, oh, it's $50 feet. Him go some man going in one group and I'm going to the group and say, yo, you know, so them people are link me, I'm gonna tell them $50. So you know, say every man in the group they at a certain level. When them call them man there, the man them say $50. So
but that up not here now.
Yeah, him cannot basically call none of the man them on a certain level and hear nothing less than $50. So if you want to get a man on a level and give you mad work or foolishness, link them man, but the people them are on a certain level, you only can talk to them man there at that level, and that is so crucial in the industry. For one, keep the industry floating at a certain level so the industry now water down, and two, keep the talent and the quality of work at a certain level, which is crucial as me see it in the industry. One of the things I asked Jeremy about this, about, you know what I mean, getting paid in seconds, you know what I mean, like, when I use them both up on the same level, you know what I mean? So, how is it, how do you think about getting paid in seconds? Because you say, when you do your work, it's 30 seconds you do. But, you know, people will look for your work and say, oh, it's just 30 seconds. Why cost so much? How you feel about that when you think about it?
Well, it's always a tricky discussion, you know what I mean? Because especially the better you are at it, the quicker you are able to do it. And so people believe that because you can do it quickly, then it's not really much work. But they don't understand that from you give us a job, we start everything up here. We start animate, we start plan out everything. So even before we open After Effects. And so I love the per second billing. Unfortunately, obviously, it caps at a certain second point. So if you come to me with something with 3 minutes, I can't use the per second billing there, you know. And so we create the per second billing up to a certain point, and then now at certain minutes there's a price. So if you're giving me something for a minute 30, there's a cost for that. If it's 2 minutes, there's a cost for that. You know, understand what I'm saying? But up to 30 to 45 seconds, we use a per second billing because it kind of work out itself based on when you do the time it take you to do it versus the work you have to put in, you know.
One of the things I think I see one quote online where them say, the reason why you can take basically a day or 2 days to do this 30-second video at this level, we are talking about professional level, is because you spend 10 years. So what you are paying me for, you are not paying me for these 30 seconds. You are paying me for my 10 years of experience. That is what you are paying me for. You are paying me for my 10 years of experience. You are paying me for the professionalism when I bring to your work. You are paying me for the quality of work that me will be giving to you, and not the seconds. Because the same thing when me and Jeremy talk about, they must say, yo, you know, just go on Instagram. That don't mean nothing to me. Me still have got to do 15 seconds. Your 15 seconds can take me 2 months. It can take me 3 weeks. It can take me 6 months. Depends on how complex our work is. Think about a man doing. Think about Man versus Machine, where do most of the cinema 4D work. Think about what name again? It's Always Been Chewed. No, I remember them name. Them ABC, where them do most cinema 4D work also. When I look on them man, they work. And them man they had a bump and some 50 seconds. And you talk about the man they show you Nike shoes, a step and a polish and a flip, brother.
Virgin.
Them things take days. But
Virgin, me used to follow.
It's 50 seconds. 50 seconds, 30 seconds. And a man I look right and I say, yo, but it's 15 seconds. 15 seconds don't mean nothing. Is the effort.
You used to follow a set of guys from SIOP. I don't know if you know SIOP. SIOP, PSYOP.
No, I'm not sure what.
From back in the day still. Them do some whole heap of wicked animation, Bridget, and motion graphics. And then there's a next one they call Digital Kitchen. I don't know if them still up around.
Oh yeah, I know.
And Grace, And so them used to do whole heap of little identity to one little short animation. So when we say the thing them bad in a Bridget. Bad. And what them like, you're quick. You understand? And so you can't value what you're getting based on how long it is. Yes, that's how we charge. But the work that's going into that 5 second or even that 10 second is a whole heap of work, you know. And so it's worth the money, definitely. And you can't look at that. And the steps we take to create that 15 seconds, doesn't matter where it's ending up. You know, the same steps are gonna be taken if it's going to TV, if it's going to Instagram, if it's going to YouTube, if it's going to Billboard, to the video board. It doesn't really matter where it's going, because I'm still gonna take the same steps to give you something that looks good and something that can transcend all of these different platforms. You understand?
You know who I've been listening to a lot, this guy named Chris Doe. I never see
Yeah man, everybody, yeah man, future, yeah man.
Why I've been listening to this guy a lot is that him speak about pricing and value and one of the things I'm hearing the man say right now is that him say be expensive. And the reason why you want to be expensive as a creative is that when you're expensive, you weed out the people them who not necessarily want the quality work, so to speak. You know what I mean? The next thing when I get from him too is that, especially when it comes to negotiating and stuff like that, when a person come to you and them say, oh, all right then, I want a work where basically value $30,000 but him only have $3,000. So when you start explore the work now, you say, but oh wow, so this is how you value your project, this is the level of work where you want. And the man ram for tell people, say, yo, all right then, you have to use somebody else. A lot of people don't understand now. And the reason why I think Jamaica is where it is sometimes the people don't have no whole heap of option, and sometimes a man just try to get a butter. So him don't feel like it's necessary to turn down a client when they are not reaching a certain level. Nothing wrong with if somebody else get the work. You want to make sure when you put your stamp on it, you get your value. It is so important to get your value. And when I talk about pricing, I know I'm going to say cost. I say value, because cost and pricing is complicated. Because with cost, so to speak, can determine, you know what I mean, your time and this and rate it. But your value is you adding price and cost together and adding on some more things on it, you know what I mean? And use art, then this is when I think value. And if your value is under FIDEM budget, then fine, because you set your value. But if your value is above FIDEM budget, them need to go to and say, oh, yeah, you know, either I want to work with this person or I don't want to work with them. All right, then use somebody else. But now undervalue myself for do your work. And that is very crucial as it relates to when we listen or Chris do talk. I say, yo, I try to learn as much as I can learn from them people. Yeah.
I listen Chris do. Yeah, I listen to him too. But one thing you have to also remember though, you have to remember the market in which you're operating. You understand? Because especially in Jamaica, I think what is good is you have to try and be market value at least. Because you don't want to be too expensive. You need to know what others are charging so that you fall at least within market. Because you can price yourself out of it as well. You get me? Yeah. So, but the good thing is that a lot of the creatives, especially those who are at a certain level, all of us kind of speak to each other. So it's like, just like how me know you, and me know Critical, me know Jeremy, and me know everybody, me know Duke, everybody. We all speak to ourselves. So we have an idea of what each person charge and what the market value for the product is, especially what their per second rate is.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So we kind of know what it is, and so therefore we can definitely say this is our value and this is where it's at. And if a client coming under, well, if you can't do it, sometimes you just want a project, you know, just for sharpen up your skills and stuff. So if the project itself is really nice, you might say, all right, you know, you might say, all right, fine.
Project, you know it enough value in terms of where you that charge, where you take it down because you say, yo, may I do this because one, it fit nice in my portfolio, and two, it's a project where I know me I gotta have fun, but especially if the person give you creative freedom.
Free real. There you go.
Talk about that. Working with somebody and having creative freedom. How you operate in that sense?
Man, creative freedom is like best thing for me. And I realize that most of my best works come out of that when the client don't really know what they want. They just know them have a voiceover. You know? So they just send me the voiceover and boom, I give them what come to my head and it works perfectly. and so some of my best work come through that. I did a job with me and a guy named Lionel Thompson work on for yogurt, really great yogurt, and they really didn't know what they want. They know that they had the yogurt bottles and they just want to do a commercial, and so that gave us the opportunity now where I start doing some research into liquid, how we create the liquid and all of that. And I was trying to do that with After Effects and trying to figure it out. And then shout out Lionel, he was able to jump in real flow and him figure it out, how to figure out to make the yogurt. And so, and the good, what I like is something because I mess with Cinema 4D, but I don't know, I really love being able to use photographs in my After Effects work and people think it's 3D.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of stuff I do.
5D type of vibes.
Yeah, man. So there's a lot of stuff I do, like with cars, and people say, "Yo, you did a car there? It's a 3D car." And I said, "No, bro, it's just a photograph from the front, but we just do some little animation tricks to make the wheels look like it a spin and light a pass over it, so it look like the car actually a drive come forward." And so it was the same thing with the yogurt. So photograph the bottles and thing, but the way how we move the fruit and everything, it looked like we modeled the fruits in 3D and all that thing. They were just images. The only thing that was 3D in that was the actual pouring of the liquid, you know. But even the cup that it was pouring into was just a photo.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And so it poured into it and then
mask.
yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
So it's good when you have done free reign with client now really tell you nothing and you just get to do that. On the other hand, sometimes if you're working with an agency, the agency have good designers there, so they can come up with good style frames and storyboards where you can follow. And so there's a little synergy there between you and the designer. And so that can look good as well. But most times, definitely, free reign is key.
Let's talk about that. Working with agency as opposed to working directly with the client. How you view these things?
All right. So I definitely want to still keep the work. So let me word it. Yeah, but love the agencies, yeah. The agencies do. But
what we have to do is just be honest about it, but balance it in terms of how you speak about it.
But yeah, man. I mean, obviously with agencies, there's much more channels you have to go through versus with the client directly. Because when you're dealing with the client directly, it's a one-to-one relationship. And so most times the client already see your work and trust in your experience and trust in your talent. So they kind of allow you to do what you tell them you're going to do, right? So you meet the client, they say they want this job, say, all right, boom, 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 tell them what you're going to do. They do it, they give it. They either like it or don't like it. So once they like it, you're good. Now with the agency, because you have to go through the different stages, so now you get the job, you have to send it to them. The agency have to like it first. Okay. Because the agency believes they know what the client wants. So they have to like it first. So you're going to go through that back and forth with the agency a lot before it even gets into the hands of the client. You know what I mean? Before the client can say if they like it or not. So that's really some of the big differences I see between working with client straight and working with agencies, because agencies, they kind of slow down the process. And I mean, understandably why. And so you have to deal with that first. So you're kind of trying to please two people.
Yeah.
Essentially, along.
First and then please.
Yeah. Essentially.
It's, as I say, it's a longer process. And I've worked with agencies before, and you know what I mean, that channel where you have to send to the agent have a look on it. And sometimes it's a weird thing, because if the person at the agency is not necessarily a creative at a certain level, they might not necessarily understand your output. And what them do is that them almost stifling the work before it reach your client. So let me send it for your changes, and then when it come back to you, and then you make the change and send it back, and it reach your client, the client asks for something where you did change out.
Yeah, it kind of, it's like a 50-50 thing, because sometimes they know, because sometimes even the agency, they have the client, right? So they have the client, so they know the client probably don't like blue, for instance. But you think blue works perfectly with the animation, like a blue background works perfectly, and you send the blue, and they will say, yo, you definitely just can't use blue because the client hates blue. So we just have to change the blue. And you know, so when you change the blue, it basically lame up the thing, but what you're going to do, the client don't like blue, you know? And there are times when you just have to work with the agency saying, and as I said, there are times now when you know, probably the person who you're dialoguing with is not getting the vibe. So one of the main thing a lot of us creatives have is the use of space. You know, that little moniker where people say, "Yo, make the logo bigger." It's not a joke.
Yes,
Like
yes, yes,
as
yes.
designers, we love to make things smaller,
Yeah.
but agency and clients want to expand.
What happens when we realize is that not a lot of persons as well, a lot of the creatives them understand negative space, but
Mm-hmm.
a layman don't know what negative space is. Him see the negative space as
Mm-hmm.
almost like a what I call now, like a bad thing. Like
A
yo, somebody
waste,
somebody
like them say,
create
why you
like
waste? Yeah.
for instance you do a design and you put like a question mark at the bottom of the
Mm-hmm.
page and everything else is blank. So the question mark is in
A
black
waste.
at the bottom of the page
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
everything else is blank. And a person will look at it and
Mm-hmm.
like, so what making them make the question mark big?
Yeah.
That's the question. That's the whole idea of the design, you know what I mean? The
Mm-hmm.
question is really the empty space that is there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So a lot of them don't get negative space, and then this is something you learn in layout. You learn how to use
Exactly.
negative space. So when you are trying to teach them how to use negative space, and the person who has sent the work to the agency don't understand negative space, and you send to them, they're like, oh, the logo have to be bigger. The logo have to be 80% of the screen. And you're like, no,
Yeah.
the logo not have to be 80% of the screen because they're gonna see the logo. The logo can be 40% of the screen.
And the screen is gonna be so big. You know what I mean?
You know what I
So
mean? So that is basically designing for a board, designing for a billboard, designing for the digital board
mm-hmm.
and we are take over everywhere now and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
brother, as I say, yo, like you know, it is so important to have them type of reasoning and even, you know, talk to creatives and kind of get a sense of, you know, kind of get into how them think. And brother, like me tell you say, yo, I couldn't do a better thing for start the show, yeah. Like every
True.
day I
Facts,
talk to a
facts.
next creative, I'm so glad I start this show because my thing is I want most of the creatives them fear have these conversations and the
Uh-huh.
creatives them fear listen these conversations so them can have a sense of how to basically navigate the space as it relates to being a creative. And we're not talking about just locally, we're talking about internationally. Mind you, we might have different ways that we go about things based on even our casting work and stuff like that. But these conversations are crucial as it relates to our creative view him work, our creative see himself, and our creative even go about thinking about the work itself. And brother, I can't bless you no more if you know coming through
Yeah,
and give
man.
the show
Much,
a
much
strength
respect.
because
Much
as I
respect,
say,
bro.
me know these shows have a certain space and have value as it relates to our heap of creative. Me see what heap of people listen. Me see Richie are listen. Me see Jeremy and they are listen. Me see Cubs are listen. Me see Shane underscore beats are listen. You know what I mean? Me see a couple people well. Basically, me see one of my brethren them where me and him usually do some work at SRAM. Him name Gerard. Jin. Which my brethren, you
Yeah.
know, him I listen to because him also use After Effects and stuff like that. And
Okay.
all heap of young creatives that come up, you have a youth where I've been
Mm-hmm.
basically watching Caesar. I don't know if you see him work them.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I
Caesar
see him
Guelph.
sometimes, man. So.
Brother,
Mm-hmm.
the little man bad. We not
I
like
see
him
him. I
bad.
see him.
So
I see him
I've
on
been watching
Insta.
him work and definitely I gotta bring him on the show just to see him
Mm-hmm.
and talk to him and, you know, talk about film process because it's somebody where even the show versus the first time I gotta do the
Mm-hmm.
show versus the first time I test it and me and him
Yeah.
basically test the show versus we kind of see it work and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean. So we really appreciate you coming out and give me a strength and, you know what I mean, give me your experience as a creative in the space and everything. And you know it go already Instagram and it have a time limit, so we kind
Yeah,
of
man.
have
You
to
don't
really
have to say
work
nothing,
within the
man.
time limit and everything. So
You don't
if
have
you
to
have
say
any
nothing, man.
final thing we want to say to a creative who are listening to this and
Uh-huh.
rate it, just make them know.
Yeah, well, when I say if you have come up in the industry, yo, as I always say to the guys, yo, work there for everybody. Just work on your talent. Make sure say your word is your bond. You have to have integrity. You know, a lot of things when we say happen, a man will say, yo, I deliver Monday, you call him Monday, you can't get him. Friday, you can't get him. And then the next week, Monday, you get him. So the integrity is key. You know what I mean? If you say you do something, do it, deliver it. If you deliver, them say over deliver, under promise, or under whatever, however that thing there. Tell them Wednesday. Yeah, tell them Wednesday and deliver it Tuesday. You know, them things that go a long way with the clients. And also, as I said, don't leave out the people them who you come up with along the line, because I tell you, no for the time them, no for the work I will come from them. You know, me send out a whole heap of work and a whole heap of work coming from my bridging them. So don't left out them people that we are work with, and just go and stay focused. You know, go and stay focused on your craft, and eventually, if you're just a starter, you go. Eventually, the money will come in. You know what I mean? But don't lose the love. One last thing, I say, people always say, from the come back to Jamaica, people at them say, yo, don't get too attached to the work and blah blah blah. Me not believe in that. People might not agree with me, but me not believe in that. Yo, me have to be attached to the work because I love what me I do. And so, if me detach myself,
important.
Exactly. So I detach myself from it and just I do the thing for the client. Then I'm gonna just fling something on the page and get. Like anything me I do, I want it look good. I want to post it. I want it to say, yo, Desmond do that.
In other words, take pride in your work. So you want to, you want to share your work because your work is at a certain level. So take pride in it, brother. Boy, I can't like learn so much. We learn so much. And I really respect as I say, yo, you coming through and giving me a strength and everything for the show and everything. So, brother, bless up.
Yeah, man, Shango, bless up.
People on the stream I say, yo, facts. You know what I mean? Yeah, big facts and stuff like that. And I would say, yo, like people, this is one of them where you can listen back and get some real important knowledge. So, as I say, yo, you know what I mean? Instagram have a time limit today. I'm 55 minutes already. So, I'm gonna run the outro and basically just basically end off the show.
Yeah, man. Remember to visit the website DZNR.co and check out the work.
You're gonna get blown away. The work they're normal. So I'm gonna say run the outro and go some man basically end off the show. So when you can always watch it back the show, them go up on the YouTube page, and it also like a little small thing on the Instagram, but you can always watch it back on YouTube, you know what I mean?